Here in America, we have this wonderful thing called the ADA. It's the Americans with Disabilities Act, and they are put there to make sure that you get your needs met as an American with a disability. So if you need them, they are there to help, and I am going to show you how to use them if you need them. Hey guys, my name is Carrie if we haven't met yet, and I am so glad you're here. Today we're going to be talking about ADA compliance and what you can do if you find out that a store or a business of some sort, large or small, is not in compliance that meets your needs. But before we get into that, I wanted to take a quick minute and say if you want to support this channel, if you've seen some of my other videos and you've gotten value from them, that is why I'm here. In order to support my channel, you can push like and subscribe. That helps me out a ton. If you want to take a step further, you can head on over to Patreon. The link is in the description below, and you can find all kinds of new content there. Now let's talk ADA. First of all, ADA stands for Americans with Disabilities Act, and they were put in place to make sure that persons with a disability of some sort or another are being met appropriately in the public. That could be a hearing disability, that could be a visual disability, it could be a physical disability. And something that I did not know was that there are different accommodations for different people. For example, in a restaurant or in a hotel room, they have different ADA compliant areas depending on the disability that you have. So you need to be specific when asking for a certain or a specific accommodation. You can't just say an ADA compliant car or an ADA compliant room or whatever. You have to be very specific in that I have a physical disability, I have a hearing disability, I have a visual disability. Step number one, if you have an ADA complaint with any company, large or small, is to go to that company directly. Do not be intimidated. Make sure that your voice is heard, and don't do it in a nasty way, but just come across as saying, hey, I don't know if you recognize this or not, but this is how it was from my perspective. Is this a miscommunication, or does this need to be addressed further with your staff or with your accommodations, whatever the case may be? Go to their website, look under Contact Me, find their email address, write them a letter, call them on the phone, see if you can resolve it first without the Department of Justice getting involved. And we'll cover that in just a minute. If you're not getting anywhere with the lower guys on the ladder, take it a step further. Go to their corporate headquarters, find out who's in charge of them. Talk to them. Make sure that your voice is heard, because it is very important, not just for you, but everybody after you. You don't want them to feel unaccommodated or an inconvenience in any way. Everybody has the right to be comfortable in the public. See if you can resolve it on a lower level first, but if you can't, step number two is contacting the ADA. I have left a link in the description below that takes you directly to a file a complaint with the ADA page. You can also call them first to see if your complaint is valid, and I left that phone number down there for you as well. Step number three is if the ADA finds that your case is valid and it needs to be approached in a way that needs to be resolved, they will contact the Department of Justice. In step number four, the Department of Justice will then contact the company to find resolve. If the company is unwilling or unable to resolve, the Department of Justice will at that time open an investigation on the company, which is what they don't want. If they're out of compliance, and most companies already know this, especially if they're a big company, they know that there are hefty fines to pay of being out of compliance with the ADA regulations. So whenever the department reaches out to them, they make sure that they try to find resolve in any way they can. It is in their best interest to work with the Department of Justice to find resolve. So if and when the company is willing to find resolve with the Department of Justice and with you, the Department of Justice then contacts a mediator. The mediator then takes it from there. They're a third-party company who will reach out to you as the disabled individual filing the complaint and also the company under question. They will talk to both of you. They will send you paperwork in the mail, and you need to fill that out. In fact, if you do not fill this paperwork out and send it in the timely manner that they ask for, your case will go no further than that. It will be resolved in the eyes of the Department of Justice and the ADA. Once those papers have been filled out completely by both parties and sent in to the mediating office, you will be appointed a mediator, and that person will reach out to you directly, usually via email, possibly by phone, to set a date for mediation. This date has to be agreed upon between the mediator, yourself as the disabled American, and the company in question. And then mediation will happen either in person if it's possible, but most likely by Zoom. During ADA mediation, what will happen is that both parties will come onto the Zoom meeting with the mediator. Everybody will virtually shake hands and agree to listen to one another and let the other person state their case, because it might be a misunderstanding. You might not have all of the information that you need in order to make this judgment call. There might be something that one or both parties needs to address in order to resolve. This is the time that you want to listen very carefully, take notes so that you don't interrupt, and make sure that you hear out the other party before jumping to nasty assumptions. You are absolutely allowed to have an attorney or some sort of representation with you as long as they sign the agreement to mediation, which is protected under federal law. That means that you cannot be in a public place to mediate where others can hear the discussion that's going on, and you also can't speak about it after the fact. You also want to make sure that you have any of your proof with you. So that could be in the form of pictures, email correspondence, videos that you took, third-party perspectives, people who were there with you to back you up in these accusations, so that everybody is able to be on the same page, because the point of mediation is to find resolve. Finally, step number 7 is to actually find resolve. During ADA mediation, the mediator is going to welcome everybody, but then you are going to get plenty of time to speak, and the company is going to get their chance to speak as well. Once all of this is done, typically the mediator will put you in separate Zoom rooms so that they can individually talk to the company and also to you. The mediator will then go back and forth between each room to find the resolve in the form of a settlement. The settlement could be anything from a monetary settlement, if that's what you're asking for, or training for the employees, or a change to the accommodation that was not accommodating to you as an American with a disability. The settlement agreement is simply stated that it is a settlement to resolve whatever it was that you had a dispute about. Once both parties have agreed to the settlement agreement, the mediator will then bring everybody back together to say their goodbyes, talk about it, talk about the time frame in which things should happen. But you want to make sure that there is a time frame put into action. Your mediator will take care of all of this. They are professionals. But if you're taking notes and you want to remember everything, make sure that you put, I want X, Y, and Z done, but I also want it by this appropriate date. And that is a legal binding document. They have to abide by that once they have agreed to it. All parties sign this document, and once that document is signed, in step number 8, the time clock starts at that point, not the mediation date. Once both parties have signed that document of settlement agreement of the things that are going to be done in a certain amount of time, that's when the time clock starts. So if you give them 90 days to fix whatever it was that was wrong, that's when their time clock starts. Once that time frame has lapsed, or in between that time, if they have finished it beforehand, the mediator will send you proof that those things have been completed. If you found this content beneficial, which I hope that you did, feel free to use it in any way that you feel, including sharing it with somebody who might be going through a struggle that would need this content. But also, would you please do me a huge favor and push like and subscribe? It helps me a lot. It helps me to grow this channel so that I can continue helping people like me who have a disability. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next video.